DIY with Chris, giving you the tools to do it yourself.
Okay, so we just got in our packages from eTrailer.com, and the first thing that we got was this stable load, and this is supposed to help with your rear suspension. And what it does is it slides, it has a little metal piece that slides in between your overload suspension and then the rest of your suspension, and it connects it so that there isn't that gap in between, so it engages all of your suspension bars or your leaf springs at the same time, and that makes it for a little bit smoother ride. Okay, we're going to assemble each piece, so we have one that's already assembled here as a demo, and so what you're going to do is you're going to have to find the 3 different sizes, and they're going to line up, and this bottom one, which has the shortest edge, is actually going to be pushed back so that these last holes are free. So after you do that, then you're going to put in one of these shorter bolts right in the end. Then you'll put this bolt in over top. That's what's going to keep it all straight. You'll take one of these large bolts after you line everything up, and you'll run it down through the top, and you'll just put loosely that at the bottom there. Next thing we'll want is our rotating pin, and we'll just put it in this hole right now with the cottering pin on the other side. What we're also going to want on this side of the bolt is we are going to need the washers, and so it says to put 5 washers right there, so you can see that on this already. What you're going to do is for our truck, there were some small discs that were right here. We had to remove them. I used just a sharp object to carve off the bottom, and so there was already a hole there, so that allowed me to put this bracket through. So all this is this is going to be your gold bolt right here, and this just tightens down, and you have 2 more bolts. They want them inverted, so this one is pointed down with the bolt or with the nut at the bottom, and the other one is the opposite way. I'm trying to push it up there, not sure if you can see, but the nut's up top and the actual bolt head is down there at the bottom. So we're going to tighten all these down. Then how the configuration actually works is use the one that has the spacers here. So if you take that off, take your cottering pin and the rotating pin out, then the large hole here that you can see over on the side, we're going to drop that down in here. The washers are there to give you space for your last bar. And then what you would do is when your system is disengaged, you would rotate it to this position, and these are going to be tightened, your nut's going to be tightened down here, and so that'll keep it from wobbling like this. But so you'll rotate to this position, pop in your cottering pin, and that's what's going to keep this from disengaged. Now right now we have our truck that's jacked up a little bit here, as you can see, and that's what's giving us the spacing between these bars, because they usually don't have that. That's why the bolt head is so small right here on that gold pin, to allow for that minimal room when this truck is at rest. So in order to engage this system, you're going to pop this up. You're going to have your truck jacked up a little bit. You're going to pop it up, rotate this way, and you're going to pop that cottering pin or that rotating pin back down. Put your cottering pin back in, and that's going to be an engaged system. Then you can lower the truck, and that's going to engage everything there. So there's going to be 4 of these. There's one for the front, one for the rear, and then the same thing on the other side. So that's how you assemble it. This was how you actually put it on there and mount it. We did not have to drill any holes for this particular vehicle because we already have the hole that was drilled in it from the factory that had those discs in there. Okay, so we're looking at the back side right now. These are the discs that I was talking about, the factory discs. So I just have to take a sharp object and shave this off, and I can peel those right up. And that's what's going to allow me to slide that bolt in there, because the truck is still jacked up, so I can slide the bolt in and start the assembly. So we have it installed on this front side already. The only thing that's not in there right now is the locking pin. So it is disengaged. All the bolts are tightened down. And then you have the cottering pin. Okay, so my worry about the system right now is when the suspension is not on the lift, there's only a couple millimeters of gap. So those disc pads that you see in the back, they're already touching these upper leaf springs. So we're adding almost an inch right here of stuff, and so whenever if we engage it, so if we rotate this forward, rotate it forward, drop our pin in, and it's engaged, you're adding almost an inch right here, which wasn't there before. So at least it's going to be on both sides, or on the front and rear of the leaf spring, as well as both sides of the truck. In addition to that, we will have that additional gap from the other rear suspension items, which should help us out and make it a little bit softer, but that is just a concern for me where we didn't have that gap before. I'm wondering about the warping of the springs and whatnot. So that's the only thing I'm worried about there, but other than that, very easy install, didn't have to drill anything, and so now we just have to do it on the rest of them. Okay, so you can see right now we have the rear suspension. We have the Torklift pieces installed on our rear suspension. So this is our overload bar, and we already have it engaged. It's locked in the engaged position, and this is installed just on this side so far. So it's installed on both sides. Both of them are locked in, so we definitely have that extra room now. Also, this leaf spring, the Torklift leaf spring system, has a lifetime warranty. Okay, so told you I would give you an example. So those chains that are sitting right there before, they actually used to be dragging on the ground. So you can see they're way higher off the ground. Also, whenever we go over a speed bump, our actual foot here would hit the speed bump. Hopefully you can hear me okay over the exhaust, but our foot right there would actually hit the speed bump every time we'd go over it. So we're definitely sitting much higher. This is also heavier than we have had any of our other loads, just due to the sagging. We didn't want to get it any heavier. So this is the heaviest load we have, and we're already much higher. The timbrins are engaged. So I'll try and show you here. We do have the leaf springs which are engaged, and if you look under the truck right here, you can see the timbrins, and the timbrins are actually sitting on their platform. So the timbrins are keeping us from going so low, as well as our overload springs are really working right now too. So everything in conjunction is really making this a lot better.